But Roswell's a very interesting place. I won't talk to you about what I know about it, but it's very interesting.
These are the places you've heard whispers about, where access is restricted and the truth is buried under layers of security, secrecy, and sometimes even legend.
I don't know what's going on in Bohemian Grove, but from what I've heard, it's basically a summer camp for billionaires.
Today, we're pulling back the curtain and venturing into the shadows as we explore 15 of the most mind-blowingly top-secret locations on Earth. Number 15. Vatican Secret Archives, Vatican City. For centuries, the Vatican's secret archives have captivated people's imaginations, not just because of their rich history, but also due to the countless stories and conspiracy theories they've inspired in films and literature. The publisher was given a once-in-a-lifetime chance to create a book about these mysterious archives. For this project, they were granted access to hidden rooms that had never been seen by outsiders. These hidden rooms are part of the Vatican Archives reading rooms, where each year around 1,500 researchers from all over the world come to study. However, this is usually the furthest anyone can go. But for the first time, cameras were allowed to film what lies beyond the reading rooms. One of the fascinating places revealed is the Wind Tower, accessible by a narrow staircase. This tower, covered in beautiful frescoes from the 16th century, was where solar observations were made, forming the foundation of our modern Gregorian calendar. Another area is the diplomatic floor, which was established a century later under the guidance of Pope Alexander II. This floor holds a vast collection of official correspondence, making it an invaluable resource for studying the relationship between the Roman Church and the states of the old regime. Then there are the lofts above the west wing of the Corte del Boudoirio. This seemingly endless corridor created under Pope Pius XI houses important documents, including those of the Apostolic Datary and the archives of the Papal Room. These rooms are situated above the Vatican Museum's gallery of geographical maps, with shelves stretching over 13 kilometers in length. The most recent addition to the archives was built during Pope Paul VI's time. He ordered the construction of 2 underground floors, known as the Bunker, which contain 43 kilometers of shelves filled with documents from the Curia, councils, congregations, and the modern section of the State Secretariat. Among these documents are those of royal families, including the Borgias and others. Special documents are stored in 2 climate-controlled rooms next to the bunker, ensuring they are preserved under the best possible conditions. Some of these unique historical treasures include a letter from English nobles concerning King Henry VIII's divorce, which led to the creation of the Anglican Church, and the Edict of Worms signed by Emperor Charles V, along with many other important documents sealed with original wax. This remarkable book, published in Italian, English, French, and Dutch, was made possible thanks to Monsignor Pagano, the prefect of the Vatican Secret Archives. His goal was to open up these archives and their invaluable collection of documents to the wider public, allowing the world a rare glimpse into the hidden history of the Vatican. Number 14. Room 39, Pyongyang, North Korea. North Korea's notorious criminal organization, known as Room 39, is shrouded in secrecy and gets its name from its location in the Workers' Party building in Pyongyang. This building is a network of hidden rooms, many of which remain a mystery. Room 39 was established in the 1970s by Kim Il-sung, who carefully chose North Korea's most profitable businesses, particularly those earning foreign currency, and grouped them to form a clandestine crime syndicate. Access to Room 39 is tightly controlled, with armed guards stationed always. The office is reportedly under the direct control of Kim Yo-jong, the sister of Kim Jong-un. This room is believed to hold North Korea's massive reserves of foreign currency, used to buy luxury goods from around the world. According to defectors, Room 39 is heavily involved in smuggling and money laundering. Nothing was off-limits. Gold, jewelry, and even food were smuggled. The trafficking of illegal substances has also been extremely profitable. North Korean diplomats were even encouraged to sell these substances to prove their loyalty. Beyond smuggling, Kim Jong-un has modernized Room 39 operations to include hacking, counterfeiting, and cybercrime. In 2016, North Korean hackers nearly succeeded in stealing $1 billion from the New York Federal Reserve. Their counterfeiting is also highly sophisticated. The U.S. State Department claims that millions of counterfeit $100 bills made by Room 39 have been circulated globally. These fake bills are so advanced that they use color-shifting ink, just like real U.S. currency, and are printed on specially made paper. Though the exact amount of money Room 39 has made remains unknown. Despite this, they managed to evade capture and continue funding the Kim family's lavish lifestyle, which is hard to conceal. When Room 39 businesses are caught breaking the law in foreign markets, they simply change their names and continue operating as if nothing happened. There are still countless secrets surrounding Room 39 operations that may never come to light. Number 13. Bohemian Grove, Monterey, California, USA. Bohemian Grove is a vast 2,700 acres forest in Northern California, about 75 miles north of San Francisco. Each July, during the last 2 weeks of the month, wealthy and influential people gather there to camp in cabins and tents. Activities are surrounded by mystery, sparking conspiracy theories. Think of it as a private club for the rich, like a fraternity party in the woods or a summer camp for older men. It even has its initiation ritual and a symbol, the owl. The place is run by the Bohemian Club, which was started in San Francisco in 1872. The members began their annual retreat soon after the club was founded, and it grew into a major event by the 1880s. It still goes on today. Despite its high-profile visitors, Bohemian Grove isn't a center for plotting or secret decision-making. Instead, it's where powerful people go to relax and socialize. They meet artists, entertainers, and academics who are invited to give the retreat a touch of culture and sophistication. Many people wrongly believe that important plans are made here, but the real decisions are made in corporate boardrooms, at the White House, and in Congress. Some Republican politicians, including past and future presidents, visit the network, seek support, or boast about their achievements. In 2008, a Vanity Fair reporter sneaked into the Grove to check out what was happening, including logging activities, and wrote about it in a May 2009 article titled Bohemian Tragedy. The Grove made news again in April 2023 when it was disclosed that the U.S. Supreme Court Justice Clarence Thomas attended as a guest of a Republican donor. A month later, the Bohemian Club was sued for exploiting its workers during the event. Experts who study the Grove agree that, while it highlights a close-knit upper class in the U.S., the activities there are relatively harmless. It's mostly just a bunch of rich men having fun, drinking, and acting like kids. These gatherings do foster social connections among the elite, but the Grove is essentially a playground for the wealthy, offering a glimpse into a lifestyle very different from that of most Americans. Number 12. Moscow Metro. To Moscow, Russia. There's a rumor about a hidden metro system beneath Moscow, often called Metro 2. Moscow's official metro opened in 1935 with just 13 stations and 7 miles of track. Over time, it has grown significantly and is now one of the largest underground transit systems in the world. But some people believe there's another, more secretive metro network underneath it. Known as D6 or Metro 2, this supposed system is said to be deeper and more secret than the public metro. The Soviets were experts at building underground facilities and could have created a secret network if they wanted. Perhaps they kept construction hidden by working under the cover of the public metro and using secretive methods like stealthy equipment transport and covertly sworn-in soldiers. Researcher Yuri Zitsith suggests that today there are 4 separate lines below the public metro. These lines are rumored to connect federal security services, various government departments near the Kremlin, and a special government airport. In 2008, the Moscow Metro's independent trade union mentioned they were hiring drivers for these secret routes, but only those with special clearance could access them. This underground network is believed to use mostly single-passenger cars, with very few people riding them compared to the public metro. Former Minister Mikhail Paul Toranin claimed that Metro 2 could accommodate many people and has routes extending to the suburbs, potentially providing safety in case of a nuclear attack. In 1992, Vladimir Gonik published a novel called Abyss, claiming it was based on true events. He suggested that high-ranking communist officials used this secret metro system and had personal apartments there for emergencies. These apartments were equipped with living areas for their families. One rumored location is a vast underground bunker called Romenki 43, located in the southwest district of Ramenki. This facility is said to connect with the secret metro system and other hidden locations, with space for up to 15,000 people. An anonymous KGB officer, interviewed by Time magazine in 1992, claimed he helped build this network in the mid-1960s, which took nearly a decade to complete. According to the rumor, there are many entrances to this network scattered across Moscow and its suburbs, often disguised as new buildings, luxury homes, or office spaces. Those with the right clearance can access this secret network. Number 11. Mercury, Nevada, USA. Mercury is a small, secluded village in Nye County, Nevada, located about 5 miles north of US Route 95 and 65 miles northwest of Las Vegas. It sits within the Nevada National Security Site and was built by the Atomic Energy Commission to support the staff working there. The area where Mercury was built was once known as Jackass Flats, near Nevada Test Site 400. Today, the village is controlled by the U.S. Department of Energy and is off-limits to the public. Mercury was established in 1950 as Base Camp Mercury, a temporary military-style camp designed to provide basic facilities for the workers at the Nevada Test Site. As testing expanded, more workers were needed, leading to a $6.7 million construction project in 1951. This project transformed the camp into a more permanent civilian-style village, complete with individual housing, offices, and service buildings. By the mid-1950s, with a new post office, the camp was officially renamed Mercury, Nevada. In 1957, the U.S. Navy used Mercury as a base for launching 9 rockets to gather data on nuclear radiation and the atmosphere. The Naval Radiological Defense Laboratory had conducted a test flight in 1956, sending a rocket to an altitude of 25 miles carrying 30 pounds of equipment. By the early 1960s, Mercury's population had grown to over 10,000, and the village expanded significantly. New additions included a school, movie theater, bowling alley, recreation hall, swimming pool, and other amenities such as a library, health clinic, and various lodging options, including the well-known Atomic Motel. In 1962, Desert Rock Airport was built to accommodate President John F. Kennedy's visit. Mercury thrived until 1992, when the U.S. ceased most nuclear testing at the Nevada Test Site, in line with the Comprehensive Nuclear Test Ban Treaty, though the treaty has not yet been ratified. The population rapidly declined, leaving many facilities deserted. Today, only a small group of scientists and military personnel remain for limited testing and research. Most of the village's amenities have closed, leaving only a few, such as dining options, a bar, and a gym. The population is unknown, but is estimated to be around 500, with numbers varying over time. Number 10. Pacific Proving Grounds, Marshall Islands, Pacific Ocean. The Pacific Proving Grounds was the name the U.S. government gave to several sites in the Marshall Islands and other locations in the Pacific Ocean where it conducted nuclear tests between 1946 and 1962. The first nuclear bomb, called Able, was tested on Bikini Atoll on June 30th, 1946, followed by another test, Baker, on July 24th, 1946. On July 18th, 1947, the U.S. reached an agreement with the United Nations to govern the islands of Micronesia, forming the Trust Territory of the Pacific Islands. This was a unique trusteeship granted by the UN and covered about 2,000 islands scattered over 3 million square miles of the North Pacific Ocean. Shortly after, the U.S. Atomic Energy Commission established the Pacific Proving Grounds. Over the years, the U.S. conducted 105 nuclear tests in the Pacific, many of which were extremely powerful. Although only 14% of all U.S. nuclear tests occurred in the Marshall Islands, these tests accounted for nearly 80% of the total explosive power, with an estimated yield of around 210 megatons. The most massive test was the 15-megaton Castle Bravo explosion in 1954, which spread significant nuclear fallout across several islands, including inhabited ones. Many of these islands remain contaminated by nuclear fallout, and the people who lived there during the tests have faced numerous health issues. Through the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act of 1990, the U.S. has paid at least $759 million in compensation to Marshall Islanders. Following the Castle Bravo test, the U.S. also paid $15.3 million to Japan. Scientists estimate that residents of the Marshall Islands will experience a 1.6% increase in cancer cases due to radiation exposure from the nuclear tests conducted between 1948 and 1958 and residual radiation that persisted for years after. Despite the U.S. promising to protect the people of Micronesia, the residents of Bikini Atoll, who had been moved to Rongerik Atoll, were starving between 1946 and 1947 due to a lack of food. Investigators concluded that the islanders needed to be relocated immediately, leading to widespread criticism of the U.S. Navy for neglecting the people. The islanders were eventually moved to Kili Island, which lacked a reef and could not support their traditional lifestyle. In 1963, the signing of the Partial Test Ban Treaty ended atmospheric and underwater nuclear tests, and no further tests were conducted at the Pacific Proving Grounds. After that, almost all U.S. nuclear testing occurred at the Nevada test site until testing ended in 1992. Number 9. Plutos Gate, Pamukkale, Turkey. In the old city of Hierapolis, located in what is now Turkey, there was a place called Plutos Gate, a strange cave once thought to be the entrance to hell itself. Unlike any other cave, it breathed out a harmful mix of gases, including carbon dioxide and hydrogen sulfide. These gases, though invisible, were deadly and could suffocate both humans and animals. The carbon dioxide would push out the oxygen in the air, while the hydrogen sulfide, known by its rotten egg smell, could cause serious health problems, even making people pass out. To the ancient people of Hierapolis, Plutos Gate was a holy place, a doorway to the underworld. They believed that the god Pluto, ruler of the dead, lived within its depths. Stories of this deadly cave spread far and wide, capturing the imagination of many. In the 1st century BCE, a famous Roman naturalist and philosopher named Pliny the Elder wrote about the cave's deadly effects in his book Natural History, adding to its dark reputation. Later, in the 2nd century CE, the Greek geographer Strabo also wrote about Pluto's Gate, noting the strange ceremonies that took place there. During these rituals, animals like bulls and sheep were sacrificed to the gods of the underworld. As they were led to the cave's entrance, their hooves echoing against the rocky ground, they were offered up to the dark forces that lay beyond. Among the priests and priestesses who performed these serious ceremonies were a chosen few known as eunuchs. Respected for their supposed divine connection, they played important roles in these rituals. Their castration was seen as a symbolic sacrifice, showing their complete dedication to the gods. As the animals came near the cave, eyes wide with fear, the eunuchs stood by watching the ritual with a sense of seriousness and mystery. Prayers were whispered into the darkness, asking for protection and favor from the gods for the city and its people. In the 4th century CE, Emperor Constantine I visited Hierapolis. He ordered the building of a grand thermal spa complex nearby. But by the 6th century CE, another emperor, Justinian I, decided it was time to close Plutos Gate for good. The cave was sealed. In the 20th century, archaeologists, with the help of modern science, rediscovered the ruins of Hierapolis and Plutos Gate. Number 8. Fukushima Exclusion Zone, Fukushima, Japan. After the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear disaster, which was caused by the 2011 Tohoku earthquake and tsunami, Japan was thrown into a state of emergency. On March 11th, the government declared a nuclear emergency and ordered people within 20 kilometers of the Fukushima plant to leave. Those living between 20 and 30 kilometers were told to stay indoors at first, but by March 25th, they were also urged to leave. Japanese authorities later admitted that weak safety standards and poor oversight contributed to the disaster. The government's slow release of important information and the seriousness of the situation drew heavy criticism. Initially supportive of nuclear energy, Prime Minister Naoto Kan's stance changed drastically after the disaster. By May, he ordered the closure of the Hamaoka nuclear power plant, fearing another earthquake or tsunami. He also stopped plans for new reactors. Evacuations began immediately after the emergency was declared, starting with 1,864 people within 2 kilometers of the plant. This zone expanded several times, eventually covering a 20-kilometer radius. By March 12th, over 50,000 people had been evacuated, with that number rising to around 200,000 by the next day as fears of a meltdown grew. On March 15th, the evacuation area was further expanded, and a 30-kilometer no-fly zone was established around the plant. The U.S. and other countries recommended even larger evacuation zones, with some advising their citizens to leave Japan entirely. As the situation worsened, international attention focused on the potential radiation risks. On March 30th, the International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA) found high levels of radioactive iodine in a town 40 kilometers from the plant, leading to recommendations for a larger evacuation zone. Japan, however, hesitated, waiting to see if radiation levels would continue. On April 21st, the government officially declared a 20-kilometer no-go zone around the plant, affecting 80,000 residents. Over the following months, people were also evacuated from areas outside the initial exclusion zones due to high radiation levels. By September 2011, over 100,000 residents were still displaced, many unable to return home due to ongoing radiation contamination. Some areas near the plant were so contaminated that residents' hopes of returning soon were shattered. Even regions further from the plant experienced a decline in tourism and economic struggles. As of February 2012, nearly 63,000 Fukushima residents had left the prefecture. Number 7. Menwith Hill, Royal Air Force Station, North Yorkshire, UK. RAF Menwith Hill is a Royal Air Force station near Harrogate in North Yorkshire, England. It provides communication and intelligence support to the UK and the US. The base features a large satellite ground station and is a key site for intercepting communications and missile warnings. It's known as the largest electronic monitoring station globally. The station is managed by an RAF officer with support from the RAF, while the U.S. Air Force provided most of the services until 2014. It operates ground stations for satellites run by the U.S. National Reconnaissance Office and is said to be part of the Echelon surveillance system. Opened in 1954, Menwith Hill started as a monitoring post for Soviet communications and was operated by the U.S. Army Security Agency. By 1966, the NSA took over, expanding its capabilities. In 1997, it was revealed that British Telecom had installed high-capacity cables connecting the base, capable of handling over 100,000 phone calls at once. In 2012, a report revealed that Menwith Hill's expansion project, Phoenix, was one of the UK's largest high-tech programs. Of its 1,800 employees at the time, 400 were British, and 1,200 were American NSA staff. There have been claims that Menwith Hill was involved in drone strikes, leading to concerns about transparency and accountability in warfare. During the 2009 G20 summit, the NSA at Menwith Hill tried to intercept Russian President Dmitry Medvedev's encrypted calls. The Echelon system, revealed by investigative journalist Duncan Campbell in 1988, led to concerns about privacy and the use of communications for competitive intelligence. The European Union's Committee on Echelon raised issues about privacy rights and misuse of commercial communication data. Throughout its history, Menwith Hill has faced protests related to nuclear weapons and missile defense. Number 6. Fort Knox, Kentucky, USA. Fort Knox is closely associated with the idea of ultimate security. Just thinking about it brings to mind images of strict security and unbeatable defenses. Besides the dedicated team guarding the gold, only a tiny few people have ever gotten past the vault's massive 20-ton steel door. Technically, Fort Knox refers to the military base where the vault is located, but the actual vault is officially known as the United States Bullion Depository. The site has a long military history going back to the Civil War. The need for a secure vault on a military base came from an order issued by President Franklin D. Roosevelt in 1933, known as Executive Order 6102. This order banned keeping gold coins, bullion, and certificates, claiming that piling up gold was worsening the Great Depression. However, the real reason was that the federal government needed more gold to support the printing of money. The vault, solidly built with over 4,200 cubic yards of concrete, 16,500 cubic feet of granite, and 1,420 tons of steel, is located underground. Guard towers at each corner, along with extra guard boxes at the steel fence gates, add to the building's fortress-like look. But getting the gold to Fort Knox was no easy task. It was too heavy to fly, so the United States Mint, in charge of the depository, came up with a clever solution. The gold was transported by trains armed with machine guns, then loaded onto trucks for the final part of the journey, escorted by U.S. cavalry. The secrecy around Fort Knox has sparked numerous conspiracy theories. In 1974, a Washington lawyer named Peter Beater claimed that a powerful group had secretly stolen all the gold. The story got so much attention that journalists were invited into the vault to prove that the gold was still there, which it was. Number 5. Chapel of the Tablet Axum, Ethiopia. The Chapel of the Tablet is watched over by a single guardian monk who holds a unique responsibility. He is the only person allowed to see the Ark of the Covenant. Once someone takes on this sacred role, they remain the guardian monk for life and cannot leave the chapel's grounds. Typically, before a guardian monk dies, he chooses a successor to take his place. However, if the monk passes away without naming a successor, the monks from a nearby monastery step in to elect a new guardian. The belief that they possess the original Ark of the Covenant is so deeply rooted in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church that nearly all of their churches have replicas of the Ark. The Ethiopian Orthodox claim isn't entirely far-fetched. According to the Bible, the Queen of Sheba heard about King Solomon's great wisdom and traveled to meet him. Ethiopian legend adds a twist to this story. The Queen of Sheba wasn't just any queen from the south, she was specifically from Ethiopia. Not only did she meet Solomon, but the legend says they also had a child together. The tale goes that after returning to Ethiopia, the queen raised their son, Menelik. When Menelik grew up, he visited King Solomon in Jerusalem. Solomon offered Menelik the chance to succeed him as king, but Menelik declined. Instead, Solomon sent him back to Ethiopia with gifts and servants. But here's where the story gets intriguing. Some of those servants secretly took the Ark of the Covenant, leaving a fake behind in Jerusalem. They brought the real Ark back to Ethiopia. When the Ark's absence was discovered in Jerusalem, it was too late. Every attempt to recover it failed, supposedly due to supernatural forces, and the Ark remained in Ethiopia. Menelik became the king of Ethiopia, and from then on, the kings of Ethiopia were believed to be descendants of the Jewish king Solomon. Number 4. Bangar, Fort Rajasthan, India. Bangar Fort, a mysterious 16th century fortress, lies located in the rugged hills of Rajasthan, India. Built by Bhagwant Das for his son Madho Singh, this fort has stood the test of time, remaining remarkably well preserved. Perched on the border of the Sariska Reserve in the Aravalli Hills, the fort is surrounded by lush trees and is home to a serene pond fed by a natural stream. The ruins of a once grand king's palace rest on the lower slopes, adding to the fort's eerie charm. Just 235 kilometers from Delhi, the journey to Bangar takes you through winding roads, with the last stretch being unpaved, making the adventure even more thrilling. The nearest airport is in Jaipur, about 88 kilometers away. Bangar Fort is shrouded in eerie legends. Visitors are restricted during nighttime. One tale speaks of a sadhu who lived within the fort's walls, insisting that no building should be taller than his own. When one building's shadow fell on his house, it led to the town's destruction. Another story tells of a black magic priest who fell in love with a beautiful Bangar princess. After she rejected his love potion and instead used it to crush him with a rock, the dying priest cursed the village, leading to its downfall. As you enter the ruined city through the main gate, you'll discover ancient temples, palaces, and havalis. The fort has 4 more entry points: the Lahori Gate, Ameri Gate, Fulbari Gate, and Delhi Gate. Just inside the main gate, you'll find several Hindu temples, including those dedicated to Hanuman, Gopinath, and Ganesh. The Gopinath Temple, with its yellow stone carvings, stands on a 14-foot-high plinth. The fort complex also includes the Purahichi Ki Haveli, the priest's residence, the Nachanki Haveli, the dancer's palace, and the Jauhari Bazaar, the marketplace. The royal palace sits at the far end of the fort, adding to the allure of this haunted destination. The Hanuman and Shiv Mahadev temples, built in a cenotaph style with Jiri marble, along with a Muslim tomb outside the gate, tell stories of a bygone era, adding layers to the fort's haunted reputation. Number 3. The CocaCola Vault, Atlanta, Georgia. After 86 years, the secret formula has been relocated to the world of Coca-Cola in Atlanta. Each year, thousands of people visit the vault of the secret formula. The secret recipe for Coca-Cola syrup, which is mixed with fizzy water by bottlers to make the famous cola drink, is one of the most closely guarded secrets in the world. Back in 1891, the company's founder, Asa Candler, decided to keep the formula hidden as a clever way to create buzz, protect the brand, and keep competitors from copying it. Over the years, some people have claimed to have found the real recipe, but Coca-Cola insists that the true formula is still a mystery, known only to a select few. According to Coca-Cola, only 2 employees at a time know the full recipe, and they aren't allowed to travel together to ensure the secret's safety. If one of them passes away, the other must choose someone from within the company to pass the secret on to. Even the identities of these 2 employees are kept secret. While the idea of a secret formula sounds exciting, it's mostly a brilliant marketing tactic. Even if a competitor somehow got hold of the real recipe, they wouldn't be able to get all the necessary ingredients, like the specially processed coca leaf. And even if they could, they couldn't call their drink Coca-Cola. The original creator of Coca-Cola, John Pemberton, supposedly wrote down the recipe in his diary before he passed away in 1888. However, the recipe didn't include specific instructions on how to mix the ingredients or the exact measurements for the flavoring oils, which was pretty normal for recipes back then because it was expected that anyone making it would know what to do. Number 2. Jiangsu National Security Museum, Nanjing, China. At the Jiangsu National Security Education Museum, only Chinese citizens are allowed to enter. Foreign visitors are not permitted at all. This is because the museum holds sensitive information about espionage. Some of the exhibits showcase the evolution of Chinese security technology and methods, dating back to 1927 when the communists were fighting against the nationalists. Since July 6, 2024, the Guangzhou Museum of Art has opened its doors without requiring reservations, as long as visitors pass the security checks. The museum has also extended its hours until the end of August, 2024, providing a refreshing and art-filled summer outing. To better accommodate visitors, the National Cultural Heritage Administration, NCHA, has suggested that museums should keep their doors open longer and drop the reservation requirement. Data reveals that after several tourist cities removed reservation policies, the number of tourists has significantly increased. Research from the online travel service provider Qunar shows that searches for tickets to Beijing's tourist spots have almost tripled since Beijing removed its reservation rules, except for the Palace Museum and the National Museum of China. The removal of reservation policies has given international visitors more options to explore Chinese culture beyond just natural landscapes and food tours. This is especially true following the introduction of a 144-hour visa-free transit policy that makes it easier for visitors to enter China. Dai Bin, the director of the China Tourism Academy, noted that the merging of cultural and tourism experiences is becoming increasingly popular. As people's living standards rise and they travel more, cultural and historical sites, like museums and ancient cities, have become top destinations for many tourists. Number 1. Disney Club 33, Disneyland, California, USA. On June 15, 1967, Disney opened Club 33, an exclusive club for Disney's corporate sponsors, located at 33 Royal Street in New Orleans Square. Initially, it wasn't meant to be a secret, but over time it became a hidden gem offering luxury and privacy. Information about Club 33 is rarely shared publicly, but if you're eager to join, you'll face a high initiation fee of around $25,000 and a $10,000 annual fee. There's a waiting list of over 10 years. However, if you have the funds and want to skip this wait, you might find an opportunity at Walt Disney World Resort, where Club 33 was introduced in 2017. At Disney World, Club 33 follows the tradition of secrecy. There are no detailed announcements, and it's mentioned only briefly on their website. The membership fee here is significantly higher, $33,000 to join and $15,000 each subsequent year. If you become a member, you'll gain access to 4 exclusive Club 33 lounges across Disney World: the Captain's Quarters in Magic Kingdom, the Constellation Club in Epcot, the Spotlight Lounge in Disney's Hollywood Studios, and a yet-to-be-finished location in Animal Kingdom. These lounges offer a retreat from the crowded parks, ensuring a sense of exclusivity. They are rumored to provide some of the best dining experiences, although members still pay for their meals. Disney keeps these lounges shrouded in mystery, with strict rules against photography, making it hard to find images of the interiors. Nonetheless, leaked photos give a glimpse into their luxurious ambiance. Members also enjoy special perks like top season passes for unlimited access to all parks, FastPass Plus reservations, and 51-day passes to share with friends and family. They receive a 5-day VIP tour, which likely combines the best Disney tours into one exclusive experience. A private concierge service is available to handle requests like arranging special park experiences or securing prime viewing spots for fireworks. And which of these secret places did you find the most interesting? Let us know your answer in the comments section.